going on, everyone? I'm just gonna do a quick trade recap for the AMD trade that I did on August 6th at 9:34 in the morning. It's my first trade of the day. I kind of just waited for the market to kind of, uh, you know, do its little whiplash in the beginning, and I took this AMD trade at 9:34. So I kind of chose this trade just because it's been different from the other trade recaps that I've done. I'm trying to just like choose different types of trades that I do. So this one, it was a put play, so I got into AMD on the 934 candle. So the reason I waited until the 934 candle, and I have the fills here. So I got in at 934 and 42 seconds at $3.70 with 20 contracts. This wasn't like a crazy big trade or anything. I was just being really cautious at the open with the market this week because obviously the market hasn't been that clean, and I'm just trying to play it safe. So the reason I waited for until 9:34, which was this candle, was I was waiting for confirmation for a hold below this 134 level. So the 134 level was the zone that I was watching out for. So essentially, I wanted a rejection off of the supply zone. So once I saw these wicks into this zone, first and foremost, like, this is why you got to be patient. You don't get it on the first candle. This looked like it was ready to rip. It was above the supply zone, and then immediately the next candle after the 931, super aggressive reversal. So you always kind of just want to give it a little bit of time to develop. Like, I know it was only 4 minutes before I got in this trade, but 4 minutes can make a big difference. So yeah, so basically I waited until it held, and this is when I say the hold below this level. This is kind of what I'm looking for, right? So this candle wicked up and down, and then we kind of saw it did close below this level, just barely, and then
Trading
the
connection lost.
934 candle was was the one where I entered. So I entered with 20 contracts. I had 370 as a fill, and then basically, it was just a scaling out kind of game. Just slowly scaled out. I was walking you guys through this essentially the entire time. 936 was my first scale out, so that was down here. So I kind of wanna put a little emphasis on this, um, because another reason why I wanted to do this trade is because um, it's just the goes to show you that the premiums were not moving that well this week. Because on a move like this, I should have gotten paid a lot better on AMD. Uh, you know, the 936 candle where I did my first scale out, and the reason I scaled out was because we were approaching this 132.27 level. So the way that I scale out is the first level I see in sight, I want to take a little bit off, just in case of a bounce, and then I hold my stop at my re-entry or a key level above, which would be here, the 134 level. So that should be paying more, from to my knowledge or from my experience. 30 cents, not too crazy of a move when the 936 candle actually broke through this level with relative ease, right? So anyway, um, regardless, I was being cautious at the open. I scaled out just a couple contracts. I think it was four contracts there. Um, I'm sorry, it was five contracts, and then just incrementally I would scale out, right? So 937, 938. Um, so the way I do it is it breaks my level, and then that level that it's broken has now become essentially the level of interest for me and where I would potentially be holding my stop. So my stop would have been a hold above this 132.25 level or 27 level, and a push back towards 133. That would probably be my stop loss for this. I think I even mentioned, yeah, right here. My stop is 133, right? So played out perfectly, right? We pushed down. We kind of bounced back up. This bounce had a little bit of volume to it, higher volume, so that's why I was a little bit wary. I scaled out a little bit more, and then 940 candle. That's when it really started moving, right? So we got that push to basically $5 in premium, and then the 942 candle was basically my final scale out, right? So I saw this 129 level approaching. We broke 130, which was key. But we weren't able to stay below 130. And I believe at this time SPY was also bouncing, so I was being a bit cautious. So if you see, 942 was my peak exit. So that's where I got the best. I got out at $5.20 here, and then I kind of just had two contracts remaining, just to see what would happen, and by not by 946, yeah, I think I held these for quite a bit, anticipating a rejection, but I was just respecting my stop, in the event um, of a reversal or whatever. I'm in such a small part of my position that I can kind of afford to you know leave these runners to run, right? So sometimes, if AMD rejected 130, and I'm still in my runners, and it pushed down, and it kept going, and it broke this demand zone, like those runners could, we've seen it happen plenty of times, go to $7, $8, and yeah. So basically, I got stopped out of my runners. This is the price here. I
Market data
took
connection
one
lost.
off. I took an additional one of my runners off at 946. So that was this candle. So you can see that the premiums like took an aggressive hit. Um, once we got hit with that kind of big green candle here, pushing from 130 to 130, 150, and you know I could have held my stop up here on the runners, but to be honest, I remember vividly that um, there were there were other opportunities setting up in the market, so I just decided to close this one. Really simple, 20 contracts again. 20 contracts on AMD with a nice aggressive push down like that typically pays a little bit more. Made a quick $1,600 on this, not too bad. If again, I was being very cautious with size. Typically, AMD, $3 contracts, I might go in with 30, 40. Really depends. But on a day like this, in a week like this where the market is, kind of untrustworthy, you kind of just want to be cautious with everything. So yeah, guys, that was basically the trade. It was again, the reason why I picked this trade in particular is because it's just a little bit different from the other ones I've done, and also to show you how the premiums were not moving as aggressively as they typically would this week, and kind of the way I play, defensive a little bit. When we're in a market where this was not the greatest week for the market and for us traders, our trading style, at least most of us. I'm sure some people did well, but I know myself personally, I was very, very cautious, and this was just kind of green. I wanted to lock in and secure as early as I possibly could. And yep, AMD ended up bouncing, so I basically caught this to the low of the day, and just pretty much didn't look at the chart again. We didn't even retest. So yeah, that was the AMD trade. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna try to keep doing these trade recaps like on different sorts of plays, but slim pickings this week. But I feel like this was a good trade. All right, guys, peace.